Hi there, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting and I am playing with all things fabulous again. Kind of had a break from it for a little while and then bought the dies. Still didn't play with them, but now I've been really playing with them a lot. So if this is the first time that you've come across me, I do paper crafting, making 3D like boxes and gift bags and things. I also make cards and I'll have a go at anything. And I try and keep them as simple as possible, nothing too intricate, so that this YouTube channel is suitable for anybody when it comes to paper crafting, whether you are a beginner or whether you are an expert and just having a look around YouTube for some inspiration. So if that's the type of thing you like, come and give my channel a subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified of any future projects that I put up. I try and put up at least one video a week, and if I'm not so busy at work, then some more go up. I also have a Facebook page as well, so just come and find me at Taffy Crafting. Come and join my page, and I'm going to be doing some live events over the next few weeks to show you what's come up in the brand new catalogue that went live on the 4th of May. Anyway, let me show you what I'm doing. I've got a standard card base. I always use a card base that is 11.5 inches by 4 1/8, and I've scored down the long side here at 5 3/4. So I'm going to do, I tend to just do a lot of tent fold cards. I need to just do something different and maybe do a different type of card. I just always seem to go for tent fold cards. I don't know why. So we have that. Now this paper is from the In Good Taste DSP and I've just sliced it. There was no measurement going on there. I just kind of looked at it, sliced it. And you could use both of these. I love this wood effect. On the other side we've got this, looks like a carpet to me. So you've got one that I'll use for this card and then I might use that bit for another card. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick that on there. If I can find some glue, there we are. So I'm using liquid glue for this. And I find that liquid glue is far easier. That's when it hasn't gummed up, when it's been sat in its pot. Liquid glue is easier if you just get a bit on there. It's easier for manoeuvring on the paper, or on the card rather, and then you can move it about until it's in the right position. So there is just a very small border all the way around that. So I started off with a piece of DSP and I cut that to 4 inches by 5 5/8 and then just sliced it, so then I've got 2 pieces that I can use for 2 cards. Now the next thing that I did is I took this image and I stamped it in Magenta Madness on the second stamp. Can I show you what I mean by that? Here's my card. This is how I stamped it out. So I've got my ink and an ink block, and I use that stamp. Just get a pad to stamp on. So what I did was ink up the block, or ink up the stamp rather, and rather than just stamping straight down, I stamped off on just a scrap piece of paper that's to that side of my desk, and then stamped again without re-inking. And you just get a very, let me just show you, I don't know if you can see that. So it's quite light. Then with this stamp, put that on the block and then ink it up, and then we'll stamp on here with its first stamp. So I'm not going to stamp off. You might hear that referred to as first and second generation stamping. That sounds a bit grand to me, but that's, if you hear people talking about it, that's what it means. So that was second generation stamping, and that is first. So it just gives it, there is actually another stamp that goes with that. but this doesn't work with third generation stamping. Some colours do, some don't. You can do different colours. I've done yellow and blue before now, like that, and it's come out perfectly well. You can really experiment with colours. So I did that, and then I die cut it out using the fabulous floral dies. Die cut them out like that. Now I did that off camera because it's quite time consuming and not particularly interesting to watch. But what I would say when it comes to die cutting is to take your time to line these up. Don't rush it, because if you haven't got them lined up properly, you're not going to get... I'm trying to see if I've got an example of one that I die cut where I rushed it, but I can't. I think I might have thrown it away. So take your time to do that. You could stick some washi tape over that or a post-it note just to keep it in place. But just take your time lining it, run it through your die cutting machine. In a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be demonstrating the new cut and emboss. Can't demonstrate it now because it's not arrived yet. I've just ordered it, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to die cut. So there's going to be a lot more demonstrations of die cutting. The die cutting machine that I've got is so big, it just doesn't fit here. Can't see it in the camera. So line it up carefully, run it through, and then what you end up with is, I think I die cut about 4, but actually for my cards I only need 3, and they're super pretty. You can stamp straight onto white, but I wanted to stamp Magenta Madness onto Magenta Madness card. I think that looks, it's just different. Okay, there's nothing wrong with stamping on white, you just get a different effect. Now I also stamped out some leaves. So in this stamp set we've got these leaves, and I've also got this as well. Now the other thing that I would say about die cutting leaves, so I just did ordinary first generation stamping on here. Let me just stamp on that bit. So if I get my block and my stamp, so I stamped this in Just Jade onto Just Jade card. So inked up the stamp and stamped it onto the Just Jade card. So we call that tone on tone stamping. And then with the die, it all starts to get a little bit intricate now. And what I have found is that when you're lining this up, line up the stalk into that little window there. And I think once you've got that lined up, the leaves will be well lined up as well. But again, really take your time with it, because if it's wrong and it doesn't die cut properly, people probably won't really see it that much, but you know it's there. So I die cut some leaves. So you can see that one, the stalk isn't in this bit here, and it's just a little bit off. If I'd taken my time a little bit more, it would have come through, but it doesn't really show, to be honest. If you stamp on white, then it does show a little bit more. That's why when you're ordering, it's good to order, you know, if you're going to order the ink in a particular colour, it's good to order the cardstock as well. You can buy the inks in a whole colourway, so you can order all of the subtles, you could order all of the regals, for instance, and get a discount for ordering them all at the same time. The cardstock as well, you can buy them in colourways, so you don't have to buy a pack of cardstock for every colour. So that tends to be how I buy my cardstock. Anyway, let's get on with the card. So let's put these to one side. Now I've already had a play with how I want to organise my leaves and my flowers, just to save a bit of time. I'll get that back. Now what I'm going to do is, I want the edge of that flower to line up with the edge of that wooden paper. It's not wooden paper, but wood effect paper. And I want that flower to line up with the edge there. And then this one is going to sit there like that. And then what the leaves are going to do is break up that pink. Now what I think I'm going to do is stick these two down with glue, and then to help me put the leaves on, I'm going to stick this one down with dimensionals. Or I might do them all dimensionals. No, I'm going to do them all dimensionals. Hopefully that's going to pay off. I didn't practice that. So let's find my dimensionals, which were on my table, but I think I put them away. Yes, they're over here. So I'm going to stick these on and I'm going to chat away with you while I'm doing that. And I know that I have people that watch me from all over the world, which is lovely. And it is really nice when you all interact with me. I'd love to hear where you are tuning in from. Tell me in the comments what part of the world you are watching me from. I definitely get people from Australia. And I had a French lady comment on mine the other day. So tell me whereabouts you come from and tell me what sort of craft you do. Do you like paper crafting, or do you do other types of craft? So I'm going to put those on there like that. And so whenever I'm trying to rearrange things or organise things, I kind of do the outside first and work in, or I do the inside first and work out. Try not to go random. I can't do random. Now I think I want to put that there. And then before I stick that down, what I'm going to do is just feed these into here, and it will just break up that pink. And then I'm going to find a way of getting those in there. So that's why the dimensionals work. So let's get those on here. Now, if you're wondering where I'm from, I live in Mid Wales in the UK. And Wales is a little country, very rural country with a few big cities. And I live right in the middle of that. It's part of the UK. Just in case you were not in the UK and you wondered where it was. But I originally came from the southeast of England and I moved here 22 years ago. Hence why I don't have a Welsh accent. And I discovered paper crafting. I used to really love sewing, really loved sewing. But I found that I wasn't getting a finished product quickly enough. Yeah, because I'm working as well, I found that I had to, a sewn project was just taking so long to make. It would take almost a week. I need to concentrate while I'm chatting with you. And so that's how I discovered paper crafting. And then I discovered Stampin' Up. And that kind of just changed everything. Now I'm going to stick that onto there. I'm going to stick that onto the dimensional, but it's going to be awkward. I'm trying to fit that in there without ripping the card. There we are. That's it. Happy with that. But I think I need to put a dimensional underneath it. So it's going to take a little bit of persuading. Let's put that under there. And this is such a nice thing to do. I've got the day off work today. Got some jobs to do, got some work jobs to do, but this is a nice thing to do. Just going to ignore the emails. Just for an hour while I have a bit of a play about with some new product. Oh, I'm going to have to lift up that dimensional again. That's it. I'm keeping these leaves. I'm not sticking the leaves down. I want them to just roll up a little bit. It just gives the whole card a little bit more dimension. Makes it more 3D rather than flat. So when you're making your cards and things, don't feel that you have to have everything stuck right down flat to the card. You know, you can have this going on, and it just, you know, when somebody takes that out of the envelope and they look at that, it goes from being that the difference between handmade and homemade. Well, it goes from homemade to handmade, and it just looks that little bit more sophisticated, a bit more classy. Just going to stick that down there, lift those leaves up while the glue's sticking. There we go. And then what I wanted to do was try and get a leaf in here, but without, that's it, without it going over the edge. I'm just going to stick a couple more of these down, but realising as well this video is getting a little bit on the long side. Some of you might be scrolling forward a little bit, you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm going to finish it off in a second with a sentiment, so let me just get a couple more leaves going on in here. Now I've had a new order come in because the new catalogue went live, and I ordered, didn't go mad, just ordered a few new bits, and I'm really looking forward to showing you those. So I've got a really cute animal one, and I've also got an inky one coming, so you're going to get a sneak peek now of what I've got coming up soon. So this is the artistically inked stamp set, 3 colours, 1 stamp. Really love that. I was a bit unsure whether I was going to like that or not, but actually it is gorgeous. So I need to just fit that in there. I'm just going to leave that there at the moment, but afterwards I'll fit a couple of leaves in there. What I want to do is show you a new punch that I just bought, and that is the oval punch. So I've punched that out, and I'm going to have my sentiment down here. Now I want to decide what sentiment to put on here. And I'm making this card, I'm making 2. I'm not going to make another one yet, for 2 friends that I'm meeting next week. And I haven't seen them for so long because of COVID. I haven't seen them for so long. And we're meeting up. I used to go to school with them, so they both still live down south. But I used to go to school with them. And we're meeting up for a bit of a get-together and a bit of a catch-up. Got a lot to catch up on. So I'm going to make a card each for them. So I'm not quite sure the sentiment that I'm going to go for. I've got to make a decision really quickly. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment using my block, and I'm going to put that onto white cardstock. So I'm just going to pause my video and then go and find a sentiment. So I found the sentiment that I wanted, and it's in the Daisy Lane stamp set, which is still current. And we've got this here. I don't think I want to say anything specific other than friend. So I've stamped that onto white because I don't think it's going to fit in this smaller oval. In fact, I'm quite certain it's not going to fit in that smaller oval. So instead of using this, which I've gone and stuck on, I'm going to get that off. That's coming off. But this is the best sentiment. Oh, it didn't even make a mark. That's amazing. I did think that would happen. So using the oval dies, I've stamped friend onto my white cardstock. And then that's going to sit on there like that. And I think that's absolutely fine. Like that. Rather than having it against the green. So let's get that stuck on. I'm I'm just going to put that at the bottom there. Now just a couple of other things that I want to put onto this card. Just want to give it a little bit of I have some, oh I can't find them, there they are. I've got the champagne jewels rather than the rhinestone jewels. I prefer these, certainly for this card. And I'm just going to put a couple of them on here. Oops, dropped that one. Let's pop a couple of them on there, and then I'll put one on here and one on here. And there we have it. This is a card just to say nothing in particular. It's just a card for a friend. And this is for my friends to tell them that I've missed them and because I've not seen them for so long. And then what I'm going to do as well before I give it to them is work out how I'm going to put that teeny tiny little leaf on there. The photograph that you're going to see at the front when you've clicked onto this will have that leaf on. You'll notice that now. But thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back again soon with another project and some new stuff to show you, some new products that we've got coming. See you soon. Bye bye.